You, but we're waiting on Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Do you want Aaron Rodgers back as your quarterback?
Definitely. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't.
Art Rooney, the president of the Steelers, essentially said they would like an answer before the draft.
There hasn't been any deadline set on me.
The Steelers placed a rarely used unrestricted free agent tender on Aaron Rodgers.
If Aaron would choose to go to another team, we are eligible for a comp pick.
If I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I'm tired of this dancing pony show. Like, we keep doing this over and over and over again.
As only Booger McFarland can say. And we welcome you to NFL Live. We're so glad you're with us. Phil Yates, Louis Riddick, and our Steelers reporter, Brooke Pryor, is here. That's where we're going to start today. Shocker, we're starting on the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. In Pittsburgh, the Steelers are still waiting to hear from Aaron Rodgers on whether he'll be back for another season. At this point, it's been everything but straightforward, right? A timeline that once felt pretty clear is now shifted into a drawn-out waiting game. Yet again, we're familiar with this. Brooke, we thought this might be wrapped up before the draft. There was some talk about that. Now here we are. Where does this leave Pittsburgh with how they're adjusting to Rodgers being undecided?
Well, I mean, they're moving forward with what they have in the quarterback room right now, and that's Drew Aller, Mason Rudolph, and Will Howard. We have rookie minicamp coming up this week. Well, that's the first time that we'll see Drew Aller on the field. We know Will Howard was taking the first team reps at their it was their first voluntary minicamp before the draft when Aaron Rodgers wasn't there. And there was a little bit of buzz about that, like, oh, does that mean that Will Howard is QB1? No, it means that they're trying to get a look at him. They're trying to see what he has, because remember, he missed essentially his entire rookie year. When he's on IR, he can't be on the field. Mike McCarthy has only seen tape of him. He liked what he saw in the national championship game, but they're kind of having to play with what they have here, because here's the thing. Putting the UFA tender on Aaron Rodgers means that he can still sign anywhere else between now and the start of training camp. They get a comp pick if he does. Once training camp starts, he can only sign with the Steelers. But until then, he can go wherever he wants, and this is an insurance policy. And the thing about Aaron Rodgers is that you never know what he's going to do. It very well could have agitated him that he had this tender placed on him, because he feels like, hey, I gave you guys my word that you'll know when you know and to trust me. And this action says, I don't know that we trust you 100%.
If Aaron's out there watching right now, take as long as you need. It's good for content, right? Certainly helps us
and
to
not my
have
mental
you lingering.
Health. Yeah, slow time right
maybe
now.
Maybe not great for Brooke, but we'll take it on the NFL Live front. That much is for sure. And I think for Aaron, like, let's be clear, for a guy that's been in the league for nearly 20 years, more than 20 years now, or close to it, I should say. Like, the difference between your 1,000th and your 1,001st practice is there is no difference, right? He doesn't need these reps right now, but I do think this Pittsburgh Steelers team under a new head coach is probably saying to itself, it's not going to decide our season whether we have Aaron Rodgers available for some or all of OTAs or maybe even our eventual mandatory minicamp. But it would be nice, right? This was not exactly an offensive juggernaut last season. They have some new pieces, including rookie offensive tackle Maxi Inachor, a veteran wide receiver, and Michael Pittman Jr. They're going to figure into the mix here. That being said, I fully expect Aaron Rodgers to do this on his own timeline. He has so far this offseason, Laura. No reason for me to think that this UFA tender or the pressure of OTAs or the idea that someone might call him out for not being there during OTAs is going to influence Aaron Rodgers. He will decide whenever he is ready.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't care. Louis, let's live in a world where it were some of the other quarterbacks on the roster that Brooke was talking about. Do you think going with any of those guys would be a better move for the Steelers?
I mean, you can't really make that determination because you don't know what they are. You don't know what they are at the pro level. And so now, would I theoretically want to do that instead of playing this game all the time and being stuck in this quarterback no man's land, this quarterback purgatory, and being, I don't want to say held hostage, but basically having your whole offense centered around what Aaron Rodgers feels like he's going to want to do from year to year? No, of course not. I mean, this is bizarro land with this football team, with this position and this player in particular. And that's not trying to be disrespectful to him. But look, what I want to see, what Will Howard has, if he was given the majority of the reps, able to develop some chemistry with the first team offense, learning this new system. Would I want to see what Drew Aller looks like if I'm Mike McCarthy? I mean, he's the one who drafted him. He's the one who said, yeah, he's worthy of being a third-round selection. Yeah, he's a guy who a lot of people feel as though has the big arm and has, really good highlight plays and really good, upper-level type plays, but then the lower-level type of plays just leave you scratching your head. Yeah, I'd want to see what we got. No, I don't think the Steelers should just go ahead and say, hey, you know what? We don't care what the season looks like. We're going to point towards 2027, see if we can address it then. But I would want to see what I have instead of playing this game year after year after year.
No, you're 100% right, Lewis. And the thing is, yes, Drew Aller does have a really big arm. And it's interesting because there's a chance that Mike McCarthy's going to have to, not even a chance, he will have to develop Will Howard and Drew Aller at the same time. And that could be a challenge because, yes, Will Howard was drafted a year ago, but he still essentially redshirted that year. And Mike McCarthy said, look, the only challenge there is the CBA and the amount of time that we have to work with these guys. But Drew Aller, I think, does have a lot of the intangibles that Mike McCarthy wants. He is a big quarterback. He has big hands. He's played in cold conditions. He's played championship-level football, not all the time, but he has that experience. So there's a lot to like there, but he's just got to get him out on the field.
Yeah. All right, Brooke, you continue your Aaron Rodgers watch. We appreciate your time here. Thanks for being with us. And we'll keep an eye on it, folks. Let's talk about the Giants now. It's only been a few months, and we're already seeing the Harbaugh effect in action. Giants making offensive improvements like Isaiah Likely and Darnell Mooney. New York and Pro Bowl tackle Dexter Lawrence couldn't agree on things, so the Giants traded him to the Bengals for the 10th overall pick in the draft. That gave them 2 top 10 picks, and they did the most with it, right? The Giants landed Ohio State linebacker Arvell Reese with the 5th pick and offensive tackle Francis Maui-Noa at number 10, hoping to improve that O-line for Jackson Dart. And then yesterday, the Giants trying to replace some of Lawrence's production with former Lions D tackle DJ Reader, who signed a 2-year deal. Reader started all 17 games for Detroit last season. Field, we've gotten a glimpse of how John Harbaugh is starting to shape this team, right? You kind of see his fingerprints all over it. So where does this go next, especially when it comes to defining the offense?
Yeah, Laura, I thought by the end of last season, maybe Jackson Dart's play had been underappreciated. There were some moments last year that were upper tier for not just a rookie quarterback, but just a quarterback in general. Went to Denver, had that team, a Denver defense that was playing dominant football, looking completely confused for about 3.5 quarters. They had the epic fourth quarter collapse. But I am most curious to see how this offense deploys Jackson Dart as a runner. On the one hand, there was so much conversation about last year when Jackson, on 4 separate occasions, had to leave a game to be evaluated. Now, he returned in 3 of those 4 instances. One time he did not return. He missed time due to a concussion. On the other hand, he's one of the most gifted running quarterbacks that we have in the league. He had 9 rushing touchdowns last season, and John Harbaugh's been living in Lamar Jackson's world for the past 6-7 years now. So I do think the Giants are going to find a way to tap into what Jackson can do as a scrambler, while also being mindful that we know what the offense looks like without him, because last year without Jackson Dart, this team, it didn't have a great chance when Jackson was on the field, given their record last season, but they were just completely dead to rights when they didn't have Jackson Dart on that offensive field.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis, that's the whole conundrum here, right? Like, how do you keep the greatness of Jackson Dart, his legs specifically, but also balance keeping him healthy? What would your recommendation be when you look at what this offense can look like?
Yeah, I think it'll be very run-centric, and I think that's going to be something that John Harbaugh really does communicate to Matt Nagy, the new offensive coordinator, to kind of, I don't want to say take the pressure off of Jackson Dart, because you don't necessarily ever take pressure off of quarterbacks. They understand that at some point you have to throw the football to win. But I think play selection, play sequencing is going to be important. This cannot just be, the air raid where Jackson Dart's just throwing the football all over the yard. He's having a lot of off-schedule plays, putting himself in harm's way and potentially getting knocked out of the game, because we all see, as Field has noted, we know what this offense looks like. So I think it's really going to, when he's not in there. So I think this really is going to be something where the offensive line play is really emphasized. The running game is really emphasized. The short passing game is emphasized initially. The controlled passing game, they have a nice complement of wide receivers on the outside. When you think of Malik Neighbors and Malachi Fields, they really play off of each other's strengths and weaknesses perfectly. Isaiah Likely at tight end, I think that's a nice complement on the inside to control the middle of the field. I think it's about really just putting this all together by Matt Nagy and making sure, again, play selection, play sequencing, the message, the consistent message that is given to Jackson Dart that says this: you are much, much, much more valuable to us on the field than trying to be Superman. And I think that's probably one of the most, intriguing relationships we need to monitor all offseason and when the season starts.
Yeah, I mean, geez, you start listing out the roster there. It's like these Giants are going to be pretty good.
Should be on paper. It looks really good right now.
I think we all agree on that. All right, we're just getting started here on personality, too. The 2024 Defensive Rookie of the Year is just as comfortable talking as he is tackling. His game comes with constant energy, edge, and communication. Sarah Barshop has the chapter and verse on how trash talk has become part of his game.
I think if I'm ranking all my skills, physical strength, speed.
Jared Verse has it, the defensive rookie of the year with a scoop and score.
Knowing my assignments.
The sack piling up.
Trash talk is right there.
Oh yeah,
It's a bad day for y'all.
I'm moving you. I'm moving you, baby. You like that sack on you? You like that sack on you?
For Rams outside linebacker Jared Verse, trash talking is his secret weapon.
You need this help? Get up, boy. I'm not done with you. Get back up.
Well, maybe it's not so secret anymore.
He's our Draymond Green. We needed that attitude. We needed that guy on the field to kind of get the guys together, get them to play hard.
Hey, you Cowboys at the quarterback, huh? Let's go get that first.
I'm really trying to get after you. I'm just going to keep saying the same thing to you. It's really going to kind of get at you at some point.
Oh, you need so much help. And you can't stop me.
It doesn't matter who you are, if you're a wide receiver, a tackle, quarterback, center. He's an equal opportunist. Everybody can get the smoke.
No, I'm taking. That's how I am.
There was one time where he might have been trash talking the center, and he wasn't lined up over the center. And I was like, you're talking to the wrong guy here, pal. Like, stay with your tackles.
If I catch you pregame, I'm going to talk trash to you pregame. It's not going to be anything like malicious. It's just going to be like a little warning, like, hey, you better be ready for the day.
Oh, we're going to have a day together. We go all day.
My personal favorite moment was probably the TFL we had in the playoff game against the Eagles. I ended up getting my hands on Saquon. I get up, I start instantly yelling in his ear. I'm yelling at Lane, I'm talking trash. I'm not mic'd up, so that's just like truly how I am.
The smack talk is not only on the field. A comment on the Adam Schefter podcast about Rams legend Aaron Donald found Verse in an unexpected position.
You can't work out with him during the offseason at all, Jared?
Nah, he don't want that. He's not ready for that.
He's not ready for that.
Whenever he ready for a workout, and he can get at me whenever he ready. I didn't think he was gonna see it. I was like, oh, he don't want that. It blows up. He texted me personally. He didn't even ask if I was free. He just sent me a date and time. I said, all right. We do a full circuit of cardio. So I'm going fast, he's going fast. But we get through all the cardio. It's 2 circuits of cores. My core is burning, I'm tired. I'm already like 45 minutes in. I was like, you ready for the real workout? I'm there for 2 hours. My arms are burning. I like looked at him, I was like, hey, bro, I gotta go let my mom in the house. He's like, give my wife your keys, she'll go let your mom in. I'm like, oh my God, this dude's psychotic. Like, he's not gonna let me leave.
You're not built for it. I promise you not.
I can't even bend my arms. My legs are tired, I just want to go home. Next 3 days I was sore, it was bad. But I'm glad I did it, it taught me a lot.
You feel the difference? I feel it. Okay, as long as you feel it. I feel it. This ain't just one day, this every day for me.
How do you think that your trash talking fuels your game and your teammates?
Because when I'm talking trash, I'm playing good. I think it gets everybody hyped up.
You like that? You like that?
Energy is a great thing for us, and everybody builds off of that.
No one can block us as a group, bro. No one can block us as a group.
You're going to hate me the whole game. You're going to get annoyed by me. You're going to hate me the rest of the day.
Okay, full confession. Like when I'm doing sidelines, I love when people are trash talking. I'm hoping that they do.
You talk trash to people on the sidelines.
I cannot confirm or deny that.
I'll take that as a yes.
It happens sometimes. Okay, the Rams front line did their job last season. They had the 5th most quarterback pressures in the NFL. Now, having said that, LA still ranked bottom half of the league in receiving defense, including 25th in receptions per game and 20th in receiving yards per game. Made some improvements, though. Lewis, how much confidence do you have that the Rams' defense will be better this season?
I have a lot because I think Les Snead and Sean McVay knew what the issues were, based upon those statistics right there. And look, you didn't really need to see the statistics. You just needed to watch the game. On the edges, on the third level in the secondary is where they struggled. And so when they go out and get Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie, that is directly a reflection of their need to improve that position in particular. I think at the safety position, with guys like Cam Curl, I mean, they are really good at the safety position. The safeties are really ball hawks. I think on the corners, though, is where they need guys who really, come money time, third down, red zone, end of games, not allowing explosive plays where they really needed to level up, and they did with both of these guys.
Yeah, Lewis, I think the 13th pick in the draft kind of spoke to where this Rams defense is. You mentioned basically like import the Chiefs cornerback room and you address their biggest weakness. But this Rams team, any weakness you wanted to point to on the roster right now is a weakness that only becomes a weakness if something happens. The if meaning if Devontae Adams gets hurt. Do they have a dominant wide receiver too in that scenario? They don't. The offensive line. Every team needs more offensive line depth. But part of the reason why they were emboldened to take Ty Simpson 13th overall, their only first-round pick after trading away pick 29 to Kansas City, is that their biggest need and sort of the most important need for this team is the eventual replacement to Matthew Stafford. We'll see when that takes place. But for the Rams, basically any selection they were going to make was almost a get-ahead pick, whether it's a get-ahead in case somebody gets hurt during this upcoming season or a get-ahead pick in which you have a player that replaces somebody that's either scheduled to be a free agent or will be released next offseason. I think it speaks to why I believe right now there's two teams that kind of constitute a top tier in the NFL. They're both in the NFC West, no surprise. Seahawks and the Rams. I'm not saying that those are the only two teams that can contend this year, but they feel to me a cut above the rest of the NFL.
Yeah, as you guys know, too, I mean, special teams was one of the Rams' only downfalls last season. They also did some things there. They got a new special teams coordinator for 2026 in Bubba Ventrone. I love a guy named Bubba. All right, still to come. Field thinks the Cowboys can app. It's phenomenal. That little piece there reminded me of it. Okay, defensive players flew off the board early in this year's draft. And now the conversation becomes, how can these rookies make an instant impact on their new team? So let's start in Washington, where the Commanders took Sonny Styles at 7. Styles, an upgrade for a Washington defense that finished 30th or worse in efficiency, yards per play, and takeaways last season. Commanders could muster only 10 takeaways, their fewest in a season all time. Only the Jets had fewer in 2025. That was 0 for the Jets. They're catching a stray in this. As Commanders GM Adam Peters tells us, Styles is just what they need.
He's an incredible sideline-to-sideline defender, a guy who's for today's NFL. He makes the field smaller. He can blitz, he can cover, he can tackle. He does everything really well. So for us, it was a pretty easy decision when he's still on the board. The pick didn't have to think too hard when he's still there.
Okay, so it's interesting because as you hear Adam Peters talking about the versatility of Sonny Styles, it makes you think about all the different things he can do. Lewis, what's the key to getting the most out of his skill set, though?
Laura, I think for him, it's about, one, letting him go ahead and settle in at the Mike backer position initially, but then really using his skill set, from a week-to-week, game-to-game type of, in a week-to-week, game-to-game type of situation that gives you the best chance to win. And by that, I mean this. Look, obviously, he only played linebacker 2 years in college. He was a safety before that. But he's a guy who could really be someone who really is, a key factor stopping the inside run, stopping the outside run. If you need him to kind of move outside the box, he can cover tight ends. He can cover running backs. If you need him to blitz, he'd be a great interior blitzer. He'd be a great edge blitzer. Quite honestly, I think he'd be a great rover as a safety as well, which is a position he played already. There's a reason why I think this guy reminds me of Brian Urlacher in his transition from safety to linebacker. I think his is going to look very similar.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, he just looks like he should be an all-pro. Like, you look at him walking across the stage, you look at him in general, he looks the part. Okay, let's turn our attention to the Bucs, where some believe Tampa was able to get the steal of the first round when they drafted Ruben Bain at 15. He should fit right in with this Bucs defense that blitzed at the third highest rate in the NFL a year ago. However, they ranked only 18th in sacks, while the Vikings and Falcons ranked top 5. Bain was top 5 in the FBS last year in edge pressures and tackles for loss. GM Jason Light spoke on what Bain's versatility brings to the Buccaneers front line.
You add a player like Ruben, and he does what we hope he can do and think he can do. I should say think, not hope. You can redact that. It opens a lot of things up. It makes everybody along the D-line better when you can have two, edge presences. The line, the protections don't slide as much. You have to decide where to slide them. Opens things up.
It was cool. Actually, Jason Light was on the Pat McAfee show earlier this week, and he was saying just how excited they were that Ruben Bain Jr. was still there when they got to pick. But how important is it for Tampa to get early production from Bain?
Yeah, Laura, I mean, the 15th pick in the draft is going to come with big expectations. You could make the case that Ruben Bain needs to be about as good as any of the early first-round picks for his team to really have a chance to achieve what it wants to do. You showed that graphic where it talked about how frequently the Buccaneers blitz. That's part of Todd Bowles' DNA. But nobody wants to blitz because they can't get home with 4 rushers on occasion. They want to blitz when they can throw it in as a curveball or because they are finding ways to generate pressure otherwise. The Bucs need Ruben Bain to be good in a hurry. This team lacks a dominant edge rusher in recent drafts and recent off seasons. They've thrown resources at the pass rush. Hasn't quite come together, but this team has got a good enough offense to win the division. It's the defense that will determine that.
Yeah, the Buccaneers ranked 7th in pressures last season, but only 24th in pressures among edge rushers. This guy looks to change that. Okay, let's go to Dallas, where the Cowboys drafted Ohio State safety Caleb Downs at 11. Dallas traded up to take Caleb Downs, and it's not hard to see why, right? The Cowboys not only had the least efficient defense in the NFL last year, but they allowed a league-high 46 completions of 25-plus yards. That's good for most in the NFL, or bad, I guess. New defensive coordinator Christian Parker on how Downs could turn this secondary around.
Yeah, I mean, I think a guy like Caleb, he's a natural football player. He's one of those, first picks in the schoolyard, you know what I mean? So he's going to have natural versatility, and just a matter of, what he can handle mentally and how we fit everything together. He's the same guy we had in the building on the 30 visit, same guy we saw on tape, just an intentional person, consistent, really, just flatline, you know what I mean? Not like in terms of not having energy, but he's just consistent in terms of his approach and everything he does.
Yeah, this guy is another ready-made pro. Lewis, what is it about Caleb Downs that makes him such a potential difference maker in this Dallas defense?
It's the experience, it's the football intellect, it's the communication skills. You go to Ohio State and you ask Ryan Day what really makes Caleb Downs Caleb Downs. It's all those intangible things that really elevates what is already natural, God-given athletic ability. Look, there's 2 things that lead to explosive plays in the NFL. One is coverage busts, and the other are double moves. It's one of those 2 things. When a plus 20-yard play happens, it's either it was a coverage bust or more times than not, some kind of double move and a DB got burned. The one thing that he will eliminate are the coverage busts. And we saw it time and time again last year with Dallas. The miscommunication in the back end, in the middle of the field, people just running scot-free. That will change with Caleb Downs at the command and control center.
Laura, I remember the first time I talked to Caleb Downs, who was, 15 years younger than I am, and I felt like I was speaking to a grown man, an alpha. He is wired differently, that much is for sure. I think the Cowboys kind of cooked during the first round of the NFL draft. They moved up one spot to ensure they want to cook in January in the playoffs. That being said, for a team that took a lot of heat leading up to the draft about finding a way to nail it, I do believe this team at picks 11 and 23 nailed 2 of their most important defensive needs to help them get back to even league average would be enough, given how good the offense is.
All right, so cooking analogies, they're doing their meal prep right now, and then they're going to eat.
I don't cook much, so I'm going to leave that stuff to you.
I do, thank you. Yes,
Chef.
I do. I do enjoy
Great
the kitchen.
chef.
People that are get back in the kitchen, I'm like, I enjoy the kitchen, so thank you. New on NFL Live, Jets offensive coordinator Frank Reich spoke today on why Geno's fit is the perfect fit in New York.
I think he fits perfect. I've liked Geno from day one. When he was coming out of West Virginia, I had a high grade on Geno. I'd not met Geno before here, and I'm kind of glad because I'm even more impressed with him now meeting him in person. I feel his resilience, his toughness. If you're the right kind of leader, then you come out of it better, and I think that's the version of Geno Smith we're getting. We're getting the best version of who he is, and I think his best football's ahead of him.
Field. Is Geno Smith's best football ahead of him? Are you buying that?
That's hard for me to buy, Laura, just given the fact that he's in his 30s now as a quarterback. I would say this for Geno Smith. Aaron Glenn's made comments about him taking them to the promised land. Me, like many others, is kind of thinking about the future of the Jets quarterback, perhaps in next year's draft. But for this year, that could be difficult. There's still a long way for this team to go roster-wise. One thing I think is inarguable about Geno Smith, very steadying presence, right?
Yeah.
During bad times last year, when it would have been easy probably for him to say, I'm good, let Kenny Pickett play on a bad Raiders team. He showed some toughness, battling through injury, wanting to be on the field, a respected teammate. So there will be some value for Geno Smith this season in New York.
Yeah, we got a lot of Jets going on here because coming up next on the show, we're going to hear from a great new Jet. Those host their regional tournaments. To find a league near you, go to NFLflag.com. And some big news out of New Jersey regarding flag football. The New York Jets played a huge part in girls flag football, becoming the 35th sanctioned high school varsity sport in the state. And now they're tasking They're taking on, the collegiate ranks after funding a 3-month season for the Eastern College Athletic Conference. For more on that, we welcome in Jets linebacker Demario Davis to the show. So excited to have you. And the Jets and the ECAC made history as the nation's largest collegiate women's flag football league, crowned its first ever champion. Demario, what more can you tell us about what the Jets are doing in the flag football space?
Oh my gosh, what is happening here with the Jets in New Jersey around flag football is mind-blowing. I've had much experience participating with flag football, doing it and seeing it be sanctioned in Mississippi and Louisiana. But to see the ECAC collegiate college girls have a championship after a 3-month-long season, full-blown, and then see a sanctioned New Jersey high school sports be added. It's so much happening, and this isn't just a one-time event, or a one-off event. This is something that's been going on for decades. So first of all, shout out to Woody Johnson and what he's done himself, the Jets, the Betty Johnson Foundation. Being exposed to this space and seeing what's happening here, particularly in New Jersey and with the Jets, is incredible.
Yeah, it's so cool. Even the video we were just showing, just seeing the smiling faces of these girls, you see the foundation, how much it matters to them, how much it means to them. I love your involvement in it. Now, after everything you accomplished with the Saints, what ultimately drove you the decision to come back for a 15th year and start a new chapter with New York Jets?
Everything that I'm seeing, honestly, being here, not even a full month, and everything that I decided to come here, I'm getting a chance to participate and be a part of. Number one, it was about, helping create a special defense and helping the defense take that next step. And AG calling the shots and being with all these guys, the guys he's brought in through free agency, the additions that they made in the draft, you're seeing that. And getting a chance to be a part of it, the energy that's bubbling up inside the building is incredible. The second part was the locker room. As a tenured guy inside the game, the addition that I feel like I can make to these younger guys, helping them become pros and young men. I just left a men's fellowship that had guys in there, young guys, talking about different things dealing with family and finances and all those things. So getting a chance to show up as a mentor, in those type of spaces, helping these young guys take the next step. You got some incredible young guys, Tavondre Sweat on the front. You got, bringing in a guy like Nashawn Wright, getting a chance to play with somebody like Jamie Sherwood, who will be, the linebacker in arms right beside me, and getting a chance to pour in these guys, help them take the next step, not just on the field, but off the field, but the community aspect. I think before we even showed up here, my wife and I, people knew what we had done with Devoted Dreamers and what we've done around the country, particularly around youth development and education, and being able to partner with the Jets and projects like what's happening with the flag football, creating a pathway for girls going from youth to high school to collegiate sports. And on the other side of Olympics, we'll see potentially pro sports. This is incredible. This is groundbreaking, but this is what's happening in the community here. And this is why I do a place like this, because out of all the work that we've done up to this point, I think it will be 10x to 100x here, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, we saw your 5 girls and 1 boy have a really great reaction to your return. Let's listen to it first, then I'm going to ask you about it.
Everybody stop. It's going to change the history of our lives forever.
Well, it's going to be part of your history already. We are going back to the gym.
They're so cute. What was it like sharing that news with them in that moment, Demario?
Oh, it was incredible. And we have a split household. So when we left New York the first time, going to New Orleans, we only had 3 children. And then we had 3 children after arriving in New Orleans. And so they literally were split. What you didn't see at the back end was our 6-year-old who was crying because she was born in New Orleans. All she knows is New Orleans. And so that's the emotions that we felt. It was bittersweet. It was hard on one side because of the love that was in New Orleans and all that we got a chance to accomplish. But that chapter was finished and a new chapter was beginning. That's the excitement and the screaming and the joy that you see running around. And so having a chance for our kids to be able to participate in what their mom and myself were experiencing on the inside was great.
You and Aaron Glenn go way back to your time together in New Orleans. What kind of energy do you think he brings to this locker room, just with your experience with him?
Well, I think who Aaron Glenn is as a leader and a man, a competitor, that's what drove me here probably more than anything. I knew what it meant to me individually, but being able to partner with him and what I believe that he's doing and will achieve inside this game, it was just too good of an opportunity to pass up. Number one, he has the experience of a player at a high level pro career. Then as he got into the football off the field side, he went into scouting. And so he's learned how to build a roster, how to put a team together. And then he went into coaching and climbed the ranks. He was a defensive backs coach where he called me from New York to come be in New Orleans. He was the one who saw what I could be before the world saw it inside the game. And took that chance on me. You don't know what a draft is until the players actually play, but just as far as projection-wise, it's just unbelievable. But that goes into not just who he is as a leader, but the way that he's spent the time climbing the ranks the right way. And so being able to partner with him in this, I'm more than elated.
Yeah, you know why he wanted to partner with you, Demario. We appreciate your time. It is always such a treat to talk to you. And thanks so much for spending some time with us today on NFL Live.
Laura, you're the best. Take care.
Coming up next on the show, Jordan Love gaining serious respect, but is he ready to take that next step? Lewis thinks so, but he also needs help from his playmakers. We'll talk all about that. Little Packers love coming your way.